basically, it's about the ecosystem for innovation. So how do you make innovation happening in your organization, which is about, of course, generating, selecting, and fine-tuning ideas, but there's more to it. Perhaps the first question that we, well, I hear you talk about a lot about exploration versus exploitation. You also indicate that they should have separate captains in the organization, right? Can you tell us a bit more about that?
So what you need to understand today is that when you have these two worlds, they need to be managed differently. And it could be the same leader, the same captain, but the mindset when you're running the business, okay, we're looking at our supply chain, how's that working? The mindset there is different than when maybe in the afternoon you're dealing with the innovation teams or with the people responsible inventing the future. The mindset switches, right? So the same captain can have, can do both, but in the larger you get, the more you actually need separate captains. And some companies do this. But there are actually three questions that you need to answer. And one is indeed at the top. So I'll actually get to these three questions. I'll just quickly show this. We call it what you just started, the leadership support. That's the captain aspect. But then how much power does innovation actually have in your company? And then the innovation practice. So I'll just give you three rules of thumb, which goes into the ecosystem. So the first one, the time spent by the leadership on innovation will define if innovation happens or not. Where innovation lives in the org chart will define if people will take it seriously. And then when it comes to innovation practice, is what we just discussed before. If teams can start projects and fail and they're not risking their career, then you will see innovation happen because it's not risky, right? So top thing, I'd say if you're in a company where the CEO, if they don't spend 40% of their time on innovation, at least, innovation will not happen, period.
40, as it 40.
40, right?
Okay.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why is that? Because if the leadership doesn't show this is actually a priority, guess what? Nobody's going to take it seriously because they're managing their career. They say, well, look, the bosses are not spending time on this. Why should I? And this is now happening. Logitech is one of my favorite examples. Bracken Darrell at Logitech spends 50 to 60% of his time on innovation. So that's the number one. That's the one on top. The one below, organizational design. I believe when you're 100 people or more, you need at least one person. I usually just say 1% needs to be full-time on innovation. If you're 1,000 people, it's 10 people who need to be full-time on innovation. And that means you have at the very top of the org chart, reporting to the CEO, you have 100% job that does innovation. And here's a myth that I want to kind of explode. Innovation and R&D are two different things. I'm not talking technology. I'm not talking research, science, product development. I'm talking innovation, creating value for customers with business models that work, which may or may not be based on technology. That's what innovation is about.